السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد فإن خير الحديث كتاب الله عز وجل وخير الهدي هدي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Certainly our praise are for Allah. We praise Allah. We seek the help of Allah. We seek the forgiveness of Allah. We seek the assistance and the guidance of Allah the Mighty and the Most High. We ask Him to keep us on the straight path and never ever to take us therefrom. We ask Allah the Mighty and the Most High to continue to bless us with the gift of Islam to the last of our breaths upon this worldly life. We seek the protection, the help, the refuge, and the sanctuary of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from our negativities and from the evil that we have the ability to do to ourselves and to each other. The nastiness of the human being that has been proven throughout the annals of history, in which there is volume upon volume upon volume upon volume of the horrible atrocities that humans have committed to themselves and to their fellow brothers throughout the pages of history. Throughout the pages of history, he who reads history, he realizes this, that the human being is capable of great destruction. And the human being is capable of great harm to himself and to the one that has more things in common with him than he actually differs and fights over. So we ask Allah to protect us from these evils and these negativities, the things that we have the ability to do to ourselves and to others. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that when we do fall victim to our sins and our negativities, is that He's kind to us, and He's graceful with us, and He's forbearing with us. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to treat us as He has explained to us His names and His attributes. That He is Halim. Allah is forbearant. Allah is Rafiq. He's gentle. Allah Azza wa Jal, He loves to hide. He loves to cover. And He loves to keep the mistakes and the faults of the servants from the eyes of the slaves and the servants. This is what we ask Allah for. And that's what's meant by that. We ask Allah for protection, not to get into the accident, not to crash. And if we do get into an accident, we do crash, we ask Allah not to make it but so bad, and to make it manageable, and to treat us in a manner which we may not deserve to be treated. But Allah Azza wa Jalla has clearly told us, He has clearly explained to us, Inna rahmati sabaqat ghadabi. My mercy is more than my wrath. My mercy is more than my anger. Allah has an anger and He has a wrath. And we've seen that in the annals of history as well. Nations that were wiped away, that were liquidated because Allah was angry with them. But Allah's mercy, despite all of that, is greater. Sabaqat. So Allah's mercy is more than His anger, and we ask Allah for that. Those who are guided is because Allah has made them so. And those who are misguided is because Allah, Almighty and Most High, unfortunately for them, and fortunately for us, inshallah, the Muslims, we ask Allah to keep us upon guidance because Allah has made them so. I bear witness and I testify that Allah alone, without any partner, deserves to be worshipped. The only God, the only true deity of worship. Al-Ma'bud bil-Haq, duna ma siwa. And I bear witness and I testify that Muhammad ibn Abdullah, the Prophet and the Apostle of Allah, may the prayers, blessings, and salutations of Allah be upon him, his family members, and his companions, is al-matbu' bil-haq, duna ma siwa. Is the one who deserves to be followed with no one else. No second or third or fourth. He has no rival with regards to following, with regards to submitting, with regards to hearing his hadiths. When you sleep like this, when you wake up like that, when you eat this, when you go here, when you make this deed, it's truth. Medical science, my culture, my opinion, what this one says, what that one says, when the messenger speaks and it's authentic, I believe in it. And I accuse my mind and my scientific theory and my exploration and this and that with being incorrect and inconsistent. This is the meaning of Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. طاعته فيما أمر وتصديقه فيما أخبر واجتناب ما نهى عنه وزجر وأن لا يعبد الله إلا بما شرع. Obeying Him, and that what He told you to do. Avoiding disobeying Him, and that what He told you to stay away from. Believing in everything that He tells you about, the jinn, the malaika, anything that the Prophet tells you about, you believe in it. And you don't think negative of it, and second guess it and doubt it. And you worship Allah only through His path. And if you don't choose to adopt the path of the Messenger of Allah, as if you're saying with your actions that I can do it better than you, O Messenger of Allah, I can do it better. This is how many rakat you made at night, but I'm going to make more. This is how you chose to fast, but I'm going to do extra. This is what you chose, was your mode of worship, but maybe I can do it better. Maybe I can come up with a better idea, a quicker idea. That's the disrespect to the Messenger of Allah, let alone to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you to think that you can get to Allah through a path, via a route, other than the Messenger's route and his path, then you're gravely mistaken. You're gravely mistaken. And not only are you mistaken in this life, but you'll be mistaken in the grave, but only for a short period of time. Only for a short period of time will you be a fool. You'll be a fool for 60 years, 70 years, 75 years at best, 50 years, if you even reach to live that long. But when you hit that grave, and those angels come to you, that are stern and severe, not smiling, not laughing, not joking, they mean business, and they ask you those questions, you'll know and you'll realize with full certainty how foolish you were. And when you're taken out of that grave and brought back to life, a walking, talking human being, in your natural state that Allah made you, no shoes on your feet, no clothes on your back, there's no circumcision, you'll be naked. And Aisha radiallahu anha says, O Messenger of Allah, how will the people stand in front of each other and they're naked? Won't they look at each other? Won't they be infatuated with each other? Won't there be a fitna? And subhanAllah, look at the beauty of this hadith as a side note. Look at how this hadith shows the ignorance of those who say There is nothing wrong with the men and women being in contact with each other. And there's nothing wrong with you looking at the opposite sex. It's okay, it's fine, it's normal. As long as you have a pure heart. Why are you thinking negative? Why are you thinking bad? Why are you thinking dirty? There's nothing wrong with that, it's fine. On the day of judgment, Aisha said, won't they look at each other? Who's going to be thinking about that on the day of judgment? The Messenger of Allah said, but the thought still came up of nakedness and of the opposite sex and of the opposite gender. Look at the depth of the fiqh of Aisha. Won't they look at each other? Won't there be a problem? He says, no, daughter of a Siddiq. They have bigger problems than looking at the opposite sex on that day. And that is al-yaqeen, certainty. On the day in which they will realize how foolish and stupid they were, and what they rejected, and what they disobeyed, and what they did not follow, and which they did not practice. Now they see it clearly, plainly in front of them. And that is why Allah tells us on that day, no one's faith will benefit it. No one will be benefited by his faith if it didn't believe before. That's because the kafir and the Muslim, the mu'min, the mukaddib, they are all going to be equal with regards to vision on that day. There's no more ghayb. There's no more I believe in it even though I can't see it. And I take it, I have faith in it. There's none of that. Everyone can see it on that day. So they will all be the same. And Allah He speaks about this vividly in the Quran. What you used to be, the heedlessness that you were upon. And we remove that heedlessness. And today you can see clearly and today you can see straight. So the Messenger of Allah is the one who deserves to be followed. He's the one who deserves to be believed in. He's the one who deserves to be submitted unto. And he is the one whom we must adopt his way and his path. Sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. To proceed, the most excellent speech is the speech of Allah, the Quran. And the most excellent guidance, once more, is the guidance of the Messenger of Allah, the Sunnah. And that which isn't beautiful and that which is not perfect is ugly and flawed. That which is not beautiful is ugly. That which is not perfect is flawed. That which is not the Kitab and the Sunnah is misguidance. It's made up, it's conjured. People came up with it themselves. And it's misguidance, innovations, hearsays, making these religious novelties, doing whatever you want to do. It can only lead you to the fire of hell. Just as doing the right thing and following the correct way can only lead you to paradise. The Messenger of Allah says, "Alaykum bis-sidq, fa inna as-sidqa yahdi ila al-birr, wa inna al-birra yahdi ila al-jannah." Be truthful, for truthfulness leads to piety, and piety leads to, i.e., no other place except for Jannah. Piety leads to paradise. وَإِيَّاكُمْ وَالْكَذِبِ فَإِنَّ الْكَذِبَ يَهْدِي إِلَى الْفُجُورِ وَإِنَّ الْفُجُورَ لَا يَهْدِي إِلَى مَكَانٍ إِلَّا النَّارِ. He says, and beware of lying, because lying leads to wickedness and foul behavior. Wickedness and foul behavior can lead you where? To Jannah? Being a liar, not telling the truth, it can lead you to paradise? Of course not. It only has one destination. One destination, and that's the fire of hell. As the Messenger of Allah has told us, وَالْحَجُّ الْمَبْرُورِ لَيْسَ لَهُ جَزَاءٌ إِلَّا الْجَنَّةِ. No reward for a good, perfect, accepted Hajj except for paradise. Not that's the reward of the good Hajj. There's no other reward. There's no mark shorter than Jannah for the Hajj that is done correctly. My dear brothers and sisters, beware. Open your eyes and your ears and allow me to make the message extremely clear. We spoke last week about the virtue of the first 10 days of this blessed month, Dhul Hijjah. And we spoke about wash-shaf'i wal-watr, the odd and the even and the odd. And from the odd, from the things that Allah has sworn by in this month is the day of Arafah, the 9th day of this month that is very fast approaching. Perhaps many of you may not live to that day. You could die in your sleep. You could go into a horrible, fatal car accident. You could get hit by a stray bullet. Allah is thus look at, and there's no guarantee that you'll make it to the day of Arafah. But for those, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, who will reach the day of Arafah, you need to know what you're coming upon. You need to realize what is approaching. And not necessarily from the aspect of the virtues of the day of Arafah, which are well known. The virtues of the day of Arafah. The day in which the slaves will be free from the fire of hell. The day in which the Messenger of Allah is quoted to have said fasting is a means of expiating in front and behind. Ahtasibu ala Allah. the day which is meant to be a means of expiating the future and the past and the future. The previous year and the upcoming year. The day of Arafah. The day in which Allah Azza wa Jalla comes near, He draws near to His servants. And Allah Azza wa Jalla will say to His angels, those who don't disobey Allah, those who are made from fluid, they're not made from base fluid that comes out of haste and lust and impulse and passion. That's not how the angels are made. The angels are made from light. Allah will say to them, He will address them, He will speak to them, مَاذَا أَرَادَ هَؤُلَاء. What do these people want from me? What have they come here for? Does Allah not know? As the Prophet ﷺ tells us, is that there are angels that stay, that come down. They come and they go, they come and they go. They come in one time and they leave at another time. And they look and they search for righteous Muslims. And once they see those righteous Muslims doing their acts of righteousness, they go back up to Allah. They go back up. And Allah Azza wa Jalla, He will ask those chosen servants, the angels, كَيْفَ تَرَكْتُمْ عِبَادِي. How did you leave my servants? The hadith says, وَهُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِهِمْ. Allah knows what they're doing. Allah knows what the angels saw. Allah, He's not unaware. He's not heedless. He isn't oblivious to what the servants, but He will ask the angels, how have you left my servants? And it states in our hadith, مَا أَرَادَ هَؤُلَاء. What do these people want from me? Why have they come here? Why have they left their homes and traveled thousands of miles, crossed all types of bodies of water, the Atlantic, the Pacific, the Arabian, the Indian Ocean? Why have they come here? Why do they go through so much hardship and difficulty? What do they want? Allah will ask this question. And the virtues of the day of Arafah go on and on and on and on. The superiority and the excellence of this day that Allah Azza wa Jalla has sworn by in His mighty book. But from those virtues and those excellent merits of this day that I want to point out to your attention is that it has a deep and rich history. Just like Hajj, and just like Al-Udhiyah or the Qurbani has a deep and rich history. And it goes back to a predecessor. And it goes back to a grandfather, quote unquote. It goes back to Ibrahim and Ismail. And the same applies to Arafah. It goes back to a previous servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A servant that we are all related to in this room. A servant that one could possibly say, we all share the same DNA. No matter what you look like, your face doesn't look like mine. Your ears, your nose doesn't look like my ear and my nose. Your hair is different than my hair. Your height is different than my height. Your weight is different than my weight. You're different than I am. But we go back to one general ancestor. And of course you know who I'm talking about. That's Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. And from the Quranic stories, Allah speaks on in so many surahs and so many ayats. It's how Adam was made, how Allah created him, how he was preferred, and how he was given rank above the angels and rank above someone whose name was Iblis. Someone who had a status with Allah for a time. Some of the scholars of Islam say was very learned and very knowledgeable. He was prestigious for a period of time until the critical moment came. And that critical moment was for him to obey, for him to listen, and not for him to think. Bow down. That's all I need you to do. Bow down. This is a servant of mine, a being of mine. I've made him. I've formed him. I've fashioned him. The only thing I want you to do right now is bow down to him. And the angels, whom Iblis was amongst, and he wasn't an angel, كَانَ مِنَ الْجِنِّ فَفَسَقَ عَنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّهِ. He was a jinni. He wasn't an angel, but he was among them. وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ. We said to the angels, "Usjudu, prostrate yourselves." فَسَجَدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ أَبَى وَاسْتَكْبَرَ. Iblis said no. So to Baqarah, Abba, he refused. وَاسْتَكْبَرَ. He was puffed up with pride. In Surah Al-A'raf, أَنَا خَيْرٌ مِنْهُ. Why do I have my sujood to this thing? I'm better than him. خَلَقْتَنِي مِنْ نَارٍ وَخَلَقْتَهُ مِنْ طِينٍ. I come from fire, he comes from clay. And anyone with any common sense knows that fire is superior to clay. Fire is stronger, it's better, it's faster, and it's more useful than clay. What can you make with clay? A pot, a wall, a brick, big deal. Fire. How did the world change when men discovered how to manipulate fire? How to keep warm when it was cold? How to seek light when it was dark? How to forge weapons? Fire changed the world. So that was Iblis' rationale. I'm better than this thing. Why do I have to make sujood to him? And Allah kicked him out. He told him to leave. فَمَا يَكُونُ لَكَ أَن تكبر فيها. There's no place for pride in Jannah. You gotta go. You can't stay here. So Adam والسلام, was warned against this arrogant, prideful being. He was warned. Allah warned him. And he warned his wife that he made from Adam. But for one reason or another, Adam forgot. And one reason or another, Adam, he didn't listen. And he fell short. And he fell victim to his human nature. And then he was cast paradise. So some of the scholars of Islam, they say, Yawm Arafah, or Arafah, or Jabal Arafah, or Jabal Arafat. Obviously coming from the verbal noun, the root word, Arafah. Ayn, Ra, Fa. Arafah, Ya'rifu, Ma'rifatan. To know something. So some of the scholars understand, they say that Adam was taken out of paradise. And Hawa, Eve, was taken out of paradise. And they were sent upon earth. Allah tells, Ihbitu minha, ihbita, get out, go, leave, go down to the earth. And they said that Adam was placed in a place, and Hawa was placed in a place. And they were unaware of each other. They didn't know who they were, they didn't know who was who, until they met up at Arafah. Fa'arafah, and he knew her. He acquainted himself with his wife. The original man acquainted himself with his wife. And they say this is from the wisdoms of it being called Yawm Arafah. So just look, if this is true, Allahu Alam, but how deep it is and how old the concept of Arafah is. So of course a day that has such a great history, such an old and ancient history, is going to be an important day in the life of the Muslim. And other Muslims, other scholars, they say nay. That's not why it's called the day of Arafah. But the root word Arafah is similar. And they say it is the place in which the Muslims yata'arafun. They become acquainted with each other. They get to know each other. They see the similarities and the parallels of each other. And Allah Azza wa Jalla draws himself near to them. And inshallah ta'ala, all of the Muslims have one goal. And they have one focus. And that is to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why it's called Arafah or Arafat. And other scholars, they say Arafah yani i'tarafa. Arafah ay i'tarafa. They play a linguistical game. And they say it's not to know something, but it's something that's similar to knowing something, which is i'tiraf. And that is acknowledging something. So I know that I'm a sinner. You know that you're a sinner. You know that you're a sinner. We all know this. We may not say it. We may fake the funk. We may act like it, but we all know that we make mistakes. That's the reality of the human being. But how many from among us acknowledge those mistakes? How many of us recognize those mistakes and those errors and actually come to a vow that I am a sinner? And that is the word in Arabic, al-i'tiraf, is to acknowledge. So they say that Arafah is the place in which the Muslims acknowledge their sins. And that's why they raise their arms to the sky. And that's why they stand from Dhuhr all the way to Maghrib, praying, crying, reciting, and doing everything that they need and should do on that day, because it is the day of al-i'tiraf. A fourth interpretation of Yawm Arafah is not Arafah ya'rifu ma'rifatan, but they say min al-arf. Min al-arf, meaning fragrance and aroma. As the Messenger of Allah ﷺ says, the man who does this, the woman who does that, the people who practice this, لا يجدون عرف الجنة. They will not discover and experience the arf, the aroma and the fragrance of paradise. And we see that there's an ayn, ra, fa, just like ayn, ra, fa. And they say that Arafah, when you go there, you get a smell, you get an aroma. Something falls upon you and it remains upon you. And that is never ever the same after Arafah. The Hajj isn't the same. The momentum of the Hajj isn't the same. You feel the downward motion of the Hajj and you feel closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as if someone what? Sprayed something on you. And the scholars, they say from the signs of a good Hajj, of a fair Hajj, of an accepted Hajj, of the Hajj Mabrur, and yarji' al-insana khayran mimma kan. And so a person will go back to his country, go back to his home better than how he came. Better than how he came. He went to go make Hajj as a sinner. He went to go make Hajj as someone who fell short. He went to go make Hajj as a spiritual loser, unfortunately. And then he came back as being a mediocre Muslim, an average Muslim, a basic proficient Muslim. I was barely praying before I made Hajj. Fajr, maybe. Definitely not Dhuhr, definitely not Asr, definitely not Maghrib. Perhaps I made Isha. Or I make Salat al-Fajr and I go out to work. And because I can't work, I work for non-Muslims, or I may work for Muslims, I come home to my apartment and I make Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib and Isha all together and I make Witr. I combine all of them together. Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, and Witr. Don't shake your heads, brothers. Don't smirk and laugh. This is a reality. There are people today who think that this is permissible and it's okay because I'm working. I'm driving a taxi, I can't make salah. I work in a restaurant, I can't make salah. I work in the airlines, I can't make salah. I work on an airplane, I can't make salah. And they think this. But he goes to make Hajj, he sees it, he experiences it, he feels Arafah, and then he comes back to the United States and Fajr is made on time. Dhuhr is made on time. Asr is made on time. Maghrib is made on time. Isha is made on time. The extra prayers, the supererogatory prayers, the extra sadaqah, going to the masjid, growing my beard. Not saying that that's extra, but you get the point I'm trying to make. Maybe later on. Or the person went to Hajj. He went to Hajj and he wasn't a loser. He wasn't mediocre. He was a good Muslim. He was a strong Muslim. And he got that spray. He got that arf. He got that fragrance of Arafah. And he came back as a great Muslim. As a stellar Muslim. And as an excellent Muslim. The Hajj changed him. Just like jail and prison changed you. Came home from jail. And your grandmother didn't know who you were. Your mother, who are you? Who's this? Is this my son? The wild, crazy one that ran the streets, that chased girls, that shot guns, that drunk liquor and alcohol. Now he's peaceful, he's calm, he's respectful, you're always clean. What happened in jail? What happened to you? Who are you? You change because of what you experienced in prison. Or you change when you get into that bad car accident and you're in a coma. And the doctor says, Kalas, you want us to pull the plug? There's nothing else we can do. And then you come back to life, quote unquote. So Arafah changes you. And other scholars, they say, last but not least, what's meant by Arafah is the narration that states in the law, I don't know how authentic it is, it's not important, is that Jibreel was making tawaf with Ibrahim. And he was teaching Ibrahim the monastic of Hajj. And he was showing Ibrahim what to do. And طَهِرَ بَيْتِي لِلطَّائِفِينَ وَالْعَاكِفِينَ وَالرُّكَعِ السُّجُودِ. And as Jibreel walked, as they made tawaf with each other, Jibreel and Ibrahim, he kept asking him, and he kept saying to him, Arafta, 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 do you get it yet? Do you know it yet? Do you understand it yet, what Hajj is, what the pilgrimage is? Who's going to come after you from your offspring, your progeny, and what they're going to do? And he said to Ibrahim, he says, Araftu, Araftu. I know what it is, and I know what it is. And you see, all of these are pertaining to the linguistical usage of the word, Arafah. I hope that each and every one of you can understand this and appreciate this. الحمد لله وكفى وصلاة الله وسلامه على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد. Brothers and sisters, the message is extremely clear on what to do during these 10 days, these 10 nights, on what to do during Arafah. There's no one single mode of ibadah. If you want to fast, then fast. If you want to give your wealth and your charity, then that's what you should do. If you want to use your body for the Muslims, building, constructing, teaching, cooking, whatever skill and talent that Allah has given you, use it for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And try hard to take advantage of this day. For indeed, Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala made his iconic statement, Al-waqtu kas-sayf, illam taqta'hu qat'ak. Time is like a sword. Time is like a sword. Al-waqtu kas-sayf, illam taqta'hu, ay illam taqta' bihi aduwaka. If you don't use it against your adversary, if you don't wield it and swing it properly, qata'aka, it will cut you. Time is like a sword because it's so valuable. Of all of the weapons and all of the martial tools and instruments that men have used from the east to the west and the north to the south, weapons that may be more useful than a sword, weapons that may be more practical than a sword, weapons that may be more efficient to construct and to make, such as a spear. A spear oftentimes is much more useful than a sword. Strength, distance, solid oak. The sharpest sword cannot cut through. Solid oak, it can't be broken by a piece of steel. But the spear isn't as popular. It isn't as famous. All the different weapons that people have, but the sword is the king of all weapons. King Arthur, the first thing you think about is his shield, his spear, his lance. No! You think about his sword. You think about any culture or any reference. The first thing you think about is the sword. Non-Muslims, what logo do they have on their necks, and in their cars, in their temples? What do they have? They have a sword. And what peace do they have with them at all times as a sign of devotion to their false and fake religion? It's something similar to a sword. So a sword, al-waqtu kasayf, meaning its expensiveness, its value, its prestige, its popularity. However, just like a sword that you're not trained to use, you're not skilled in wielding, you think it's a joke, it's a game, playing around with a sword. If you don't use it properly, it will cut you. And that's what time is like. So if you don't pay attention, if you're not mindful of your time, it will come and it will go. As a wise man once said, time sits still for how many people? No one. No one can stop time. How much money you have, how much riches, how much wealth, you can't stop the clock moving. So be mindful of the day of Arafah. Be mindful of the first 10 days of the Hijjah. For those brothers and sisters from our community, from our families that have left to make their pilgrimage, we ask Allah to bless them in that pilgrimage. We ask Allah to forgive them of their sins and to make them like newborn babies. Aqim as-salat.